Earlier this year, Mickey Mouse officially entered the public domain. Well, this version of Mickey anyway, from the famous 1928 short Steamboat Willie. And over the next decade, he'll be joined by other classic cartoons. Popeye the Sailor enters the public domain in the US in 2025, and Mickey's dog Pluto a year later. Even Superman flies into the public domain in 2034. But what does it mean when a character becomes public domain? And will we see a glut of new content featuring these characters once they're fair game for any would-be filmmaker or animator?
I don't think you're going to see like a mainstream motion picture that's built around Steamboat Willie or something like that. I think it's, it's too risky.
In the US, any intellectual property, such as a cartoon, a novel, or a song, is protected by copyright until 70 years after the original creator's death. A character like Mickey Mouse, though, designed by Disney animators as part of a job, is protected for 95 years since it was created for hire. And each time a new version is released, that version is copyrighted anew. Which is why alternate versions of Disney's famous mascot aren't yet in the public domain. There's also a second consideration for creators: trademark law. And this is where things get a little trickier. While Steamboat Willie has entered public domain, Mickey Mouse is also trademarked, a legal regime that lets Disney block any use of the character they believe could create confusion for consumers. And trademarks don't expire.
I heard stories.
New and upcoming horror films based on iconic children's characters could be a sign of what's to come as the public domain gets more crowded. But it's unlikely consumers would mistakenly believe Disney produced such a film, and this expert says we've seen few other independent adaptations or works inspired by characters now in the public domain. Jesse Yules is a director and animator in Toronto. He's skeptical of this new crop of horror adaptations, but he is excited about an expanded public domain, both as an artist and a consumer.
I don't really feel like that team probably loves Mickey Mouse. I'm more excited by the idea that as a consumer, we're going to be able to see the free flow of ideas and a more diverse art scene.
Yules began his career directing music videos. Record labels, which traditionally have owned the rights to master recordings, are also very protective of their intellectual property. He says it's made it difficult for directors not only to show off their portfolio, but it also changes how you work.
You do compose things and shoot stuff differently when you're thinking that way.
He believes a larger public domain might help ward off frivolous lawsuits against anyone who should be protected, for example, by fair use laws. Creators of fan fiction are also likely to benefit. Disney itself is one such company with a reputation for being litigious, and they've also tried other tactics to protect their IP, including controversially lobbying twice to extend copyright terms in the US. Perhaps the best option a company has to protect its IP is just to keep it fresh.
It might be time to see, Fantasia Part 2 hit the marketplace, wherein Mickey's there and he looks mostly like he did before, but it creates a gray area for the courts to settle.
Companies like DC and Marvel have made a major effort to update their IP and control public perception around characters like Batman and Superman. There's still about a decade to go until the earliest iterations of Batman and Superman become public domain. But it seems unlikely it will be kryptonite for their company or any others. Alyssa Julie, Global News, Toronto.